Who's the lard ass? Beat it, Brucey. Go on home and play with your wooden dolly. Take a walk, fat boy. You stay out of this or you're gonna get hurt. This is between him and me. Get him! All right, no retreat, no surrender.
Welcome to Second Class Cinema, the show where we watch a B movie and immediately discuss. I'm Tom. I'm here with Brittany and Eric.
Hello!
What's up?
Hey, guys. How are you on this lovely fall afternoon in New England?
So fall and so lovely.
It's very nice today.
Yeah.
I feel crisp, much like this weather.
Oh, and we spent the day inside, unfortunately, but the windows the windows were open, and we watched the movie No Surrender, No Retreat, No Surrender. Different movie here. Okay.
Tom, they only said the name of the movie 5 times in the movie.
And I fucked it up.
Which means that Tom was going to give this movie a fuck yes times 5.
Exactly. So yes, No Retreat, No Surrender, 1986, and it was Eric's pick. So Eric, why did you select it?
I selected this movie because I feel like I haven't given Van Damme a fair shake on this podcast. The only thing that we've watched so far is Sudden Death.
Yes.
And I think at the time I didn't quite understand the majesty of Van Damme, and I think I was very unfair. So I wanted to revisit it. And this is something I had come across as like a related video to a trailer to the Jean-Claude Van Johnson miniseries that's piloted on Amazon. On Amazon
Prime, yep.
Yep. So I decided I want to watch it because it looked great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this also being one of his early credits.
Super early, yeah.
Yeah,
so early that in the credits they give him the incorrect name of his character.
Yeah, his name in this movie is Ivan Krasinski.
Something to that
He was
effect.
credited as like Carl Ilsbad or
He's a dude named
like,
Carl in the
that
credits.
guy doesn't exist, pretty sure. But to be fair, we watched so much garbage that like when we're like, let's watch something good, we watch like a Van Damme movie.
Yeah.
Or a Seagal movie. Which I'm sure is arguable, but
Yeah, no, that's the age-old debate right there. We could talk about that for hours, but all right, so there's the why. So Eric, what is this about?
Okay. This is one of the few movies where I've written down a detailed synopsis because there was no way I was going to keep track of it.
All right, here we go.
So this movie starts off in Los Angeles at a karate dojo.
Oh, yes.
And it establishes that it's a karate dojo because it's a freeze frame for a good 20 seconds, and we thought the YouTube upload was broken. Where Jason, a very motivated Bruce Lee fan, and his father run a dojo, karate dojo. A bunch of hooligans show up and beat up his dad. Turns out that these hooligans are associated with some sort of karate mafia. They're from New York.
Yep.
And they come to L.A. to try to convince Jason's father to join their network of karate mafiosos.
The Manhattan Maulers.
Yes, correct.
so it's basically just like they flip dojos and then make them front as a dojo while they like
run crimes.
While they
Yeah.
crime.
While they play crime.
Oh, I love playing crime.
backroom crime lab. Got it.
Okay.
So they beat up and injure Jason's father, who
Is
unlike
a
the title of
pussy.
this movie, he retreats and surrenders
Right off the bat.
like immediately. So they make a move to Seattle, where Jason quickly sets up shop in the garage of their new home to train himself in the ways of Bruce Lee, where he befriends a young Jerry curled man named RJ and runs afoul of a fat shit named Scott. Gets tangled up with this karate crew made up of a bunch of John Stamoses, who don't like them.
A league of John Stamos.
Yeah.
Local dojo rivalry.
John Stami.
So eventually,
I could let that go unglaring.
The plural of Stamos.
it makes sense. I like it. I mean, what do you call a group of people that can dance? A stami.
Stampede of Stami.
All right, let's keep it going.
Throughout the course of the plot, Jason is getting caught in fights with these group of Stamoses and the fat kid. Mm-hmm. And eventually his father gets fed up, throws all of his Bruce Lee shit out, and then Jason sets up shop again in an abandoned house where Bruce Lee's ghost visits him and trains him to be awesome. And eventually the New York Maulers catch up to Seattle and try to take over that dojo. And there's a big standoff for ownership of that dojo.
Yeah.
Big coup.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
It is pretty great.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds awesome. The only confusing part to that is why we haven't seen it sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know.
And it's our fault. I mean, our friend Owen.
Yes. Yes, the Bad Movie Sunday, we've run a little afoul of them lately.
Hi, Owen.
Sorry. So we're just plucking a bunch of his picks and we're just claiming them as our own, I guess. But in our defense, he sent us a very long list of movies.
Plus, we have a list of like 100+ titles that we already had on back burner.
Sounds like we do a lot of work. Trust me, we don't.
That sounds like we make a lot of excuses.
What it is.
Yeah, the conversation this morning, Eric, what are you picking? I was like, no retreat, no surrender. I got the name wrong. Like, never retreat, never surrender.
I know. And I was looking it up. I was like, I can't find that.
Owen is back in my good graces.
Yes. So I was like, we should probably check to see if this is on his second movie.
Okay, you clowns, cut the crap.
We had a good time today, right?
Oh, I had a blast.
Can I just preface this entire thing by saying the very first notes that I wrote were yes. And that pretty much sustained that attitude for the entirety of this movie.
Yes.
So that's a pretty rare case for this podcast in general, where we keep up the energy for like a good hour and a half straight.
Especially for me. I get bored way easier than you guys do.
We're simpletons.
Yes. One word came to mind thinking about this, and that was scrumptious.
Do tell.
I just thought this movie was tasty in every bite.
It was pretty tasty.
Every course of this meal was delightful.
The character intros for this movie were awesome. Every new character got introduced seemingly out of nowhere. No setup at all. They would just trip on screen and then be a part of the plot.
Well, I'm here now.
Which was great. Or they would breakdance in some cases. Breakdance onto the fucking
Onto
scene.
the scene. Oh my goodness.
And I thought that was great.
Like, especially, I think our collective favorite character, Scott, the fat kid,
His introduction
He
is pretty sweet.
had the best intro.
is him eating an entire cake by hand, complaining that someone is moving into the neighborhood that likes Bruce Lee.
Leaning against the hood of a car, eating like an entire Entenmann's cake, just smearing it all over his face. There's like Coke cans spread on the hood of the car he's leaning on. And he's just like, great, you like Bruce Lee.
We got a Brucey here.
And then he proceeds to call the main character Jason Bruce or Brucey for the entirety of the movie.
What I think one of my favorite parts about that success is the fact anytime we would get a new character, I feel like our director would just want to run with that person. Like they would bring a new energy to the scene and they'd be like, oh, let's do this with you. Let's do this. And I feel like this movie was just like a train of thought like that. Like, hey, he shows up, he's cool. Let's hang out with him for a while. He's kind of boring me now. Let's go over to this guy where he's cool again. Like we just kept going and changing.
It
who
was
we were
like,
focusing on.
It was quasi-problematic in this day and age, though, where unfortunately we had to stream this movie from YouTube. So about 7 times during watching it, we were like, did they cut a scene out? Like, do we miss something? Who is this person? They would be like, yeah, I had so much fun with you at the pet store last week. And we would be like, wait, did they fucking cut this pet store scene out? Because I want to see it.
Who's Kelly?
It's her birthday, Tom. Have you been paying attention?
Well,
Who's Kelly and why does she like rabbits? I need to know these things.
Our introduction to Kelly was seeing a birthday sign that said "Happy Birthday, Kelly" about a half hour into the movie, and then it's like this love interest that we're supposed to have known as existed.
Like an
Yeah.
established like friendship between these characters.
Jason gets her a bunny rabbit for her birthday, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "Yeah, you were like fucking drooling over at the pet store last week." And
That's
we're
a good
like,
summation, yeah.
we're like, "What? We've never seen this person before."
Yeah.
He has one friend, and it's RJ. Can just spring this on us.
One very special friend named RJ.
I mean,
Oh.
we kind of made the observation that it seemed like this was an upload of a porno where all the fucking had been cut out. And like we were just given like a moist karate adventure.
Every
That's the
time
tagline of the movie.
Every time things like hit a pitch, it would just like switch scenes.
Yeah.
It would be like seemingly people just had an orgy and then they like cut the orgy out and then just moved on to the next scene.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened in bedrooms that we weren't allowed to say.
There was fucking at the pet store for certain.
Oh, absolutely.
Beyond the character intros in this movie, I thought the characters, like the supporting characters, were fucking awesome. It's like everything you could hope for from an 80s teen.
Romp.
Yeah, sure.
Won't let you dangle there forever.
There's like a fun, oh god, 80s tropes. There's a fun breakdancing black guy with Jerry curls. There's like the hot love interest who you meet for 2 sentences, and then that's it.
Her personality is that she's Kelly.
Oh man,
Good enough though. I get it.
pretty much. You got like the pissy fat kid who's just jealous of everybody. You got like the head jock of the local dojo who's such a fucking tough guy.
But he's not as bad as Randy Cellini. Let's not.
He's no Cellini,
He's no
but I
Cellini.
mean, he's still pretty dickish.
He's pretty, but he didn't start dickish.
Dean.
He only became dickish once he found out, or once he thought that Jason was being a dick to him, which
Right.
wasn't the truth.
Yeah, he was misled by Scott, the fat shit.
Yes, which
That's
never got
true.
resolved. I don't know if Dean ever found out the truth.
But you know what? I don't care, because if you can be swayed that easily by some fat kid you don't even know his word, then you're still a piece of shit.
Well, no, he knows Scott. I mean, Scott's the one who's like massaging them in the locker rooms.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but he was like a white belt that just showed up that day. Like,
Yeah, that's what I felt like. He got his ass kicked the day before, so he was like, shit, I need to learn how to fight. And then like showed up. And it's like, oh, okay, so that guy got there 6 minutes before Jason, so you believe everything he says.
Well,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah. I mean, maybe it was some misled sympathy for the fat kid who's like, yeah, this guy's probably telling the truth.
Yeah,
Could be.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I'm nitpicking. I could fucking not possibly care less, but
I think, you know, I kind of enjoyed the fact that Scott, the fat kid, no character arc whatsoever.
No.
He's just a piece of shit the entire movie.
he went from cake to burgers to I'm the boss, and that was it.
Dude, he was a sloppy fucking eater. And
Yeah.
I
Oh my
loved,
God.
I loved how that was a part of who he was. That he was just a fucking disgusting fat
Pile.
fuck.
Just always mustard on his face.
Yeah, just ketchup and mustard, like a giant plate of burgers. Guy was awesome.
He was he seemed to be pulled from the same archetype as oh god, the fat kid from Memorial Valley Massacre.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, our
What do you
favorite
mean?
yeah.
Temporarily.
Yeah, that guy.
The only thing redeemable about that movie.
The thing that we quote to this day. I will say that I'm not sure if it's the passion of the director or the naivety of the director, but I feel like he did whatever it took to get the story told. Like, it doesn't matter what style he chose to tell it, because in the beginning, I mean, it was pretty standard, and then we had some inner monologue stuff. We went into some montage stuff. We just introduced characters left and right. He didn't care. He
Yeah.
just wanted to rush to the end of the movie. Like, everything was a mad dash to that last fight scene.
But I didn't feel like it was too rushed.
No. Well, there are some parts that kind of valleyed a little bit. We can get to
Yeah.
that a little later, but like,
It almost felt like everything was done in Cliff Notes. Like
yeah, like just enough information to get you along, to get you there.
Everything escalates immediately.
Yeah, I was like, the plot is so absurd, but still not that over the top. It's at a point where it's still believable.
Yeah.
and it's enjoyable to follow because it's not too fast or too slow.
Yeah, it's almost as if like they filmed the summary of the movie instead of the synopsis. Like,
Like they were only given a paragraph to work with and just kind of filled the rest of it. Anything else that we want to highlight?
I fucking love the montage theme in this movie. It's one of the best of all time.
Okay.
I don't have the name of it off the top of my head. I keep forgetting what it is. It's like the Vision, like Hold On to the Vision, something to that effect. It's got Joe Satriani on guitar. This thing is ripping. I've been jogging to this song for like 2 months now, ever since I discovered it.
Really?
It's dude, I fucking love this song. And the montage it goes along with is fucking great too.
And
it's a really good montage.
Were you aware that this song was in this movie before?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, the song came first. Then I discovered the movie.
Hold On to the Vision
There
by
we go.
Frank Harris.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Good call.
Yeah. This is on Spotify, folks. You got to listen to it.
Yeah, it's a great song.
I'm gonna set that as my alarm clock, so I have motivation to awake each day.
Because let's face it, most montage songs are pretty bad, and I enjoy them ironically. This song is great, and I love it for what it is.
Let's face it, because most days you don't want to get out of bed.
No.
Yeah.
I actually liked I felt like the dramatic parts in this movie had a weird, like, ironic feeling. Like, if it was made today, I feel like it would be intentional to be, like, over the top to the point of humor. Which I really enjoyed, like when Jason gets beat up at Kelly's birthday party and he like drives away furiously, but he's driving like a fucking puke green station wagon and not going fast at all.
He's like cautiously backing out of the driveway.
Looks both ways. Waits for his car to stop before
Like,
shifting.
so upset. I just thought that was so funny.
Or like, this is kind of a favorite part, but when his dad finally like loses his shit and throws all of his Bruce Lee stuff up, and he rips up the Bruce Lee poster, and Jason throws like temper tantrum, just starts running down the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like running through the suburbs.
Like, I gotta go see RJ right now.
That was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, it was fantastic. All right, let's transition then. As much as we enjoyed this, is there anything that we'd like to say that kind of didn't work out?
I gotta say, in a movie where I knew that the ghost of Bruce Lee was going to train a teenage karate man in Seattle, that was probably the least ridiculous and the least exciting portion of the movie.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
It was weirdly grounded.
It was. It
wasn't bad, but like it almost brought the movie to like a weird, slower pace that I wasn't expecting.
I feel like it's because when he was training, there was nothing extreme. Like, it wasn't like he was doing anything that he wasn't already doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that crazy, like, one-legged kick thing at the end, that was probably the most different thing that he taught him. But otherwise, he was just, like, stretching with those,
Those
spring
coil
things. Yeah. And, like, jogging with RJ. It was anticlimactic.
Yeah, I think that for how absurd the movie felt leading up to that moment, it could have been like, I don't know, an opportunity for them to be silly, but like cool. Yeah. But they didn't.
Also, Bruce Lee, kind of a dick.
Kind of was.
More than kind of. If I'm being honest.
Definitely a dick.
I expected him to be like, he was motivational, but I don't know, I expected him to be more
philosophical,
upbeat.
Oh, okay.
Inspirational, maybe.
All right.
You know.
Yeah, I just thought that was just weirdly slowed the movie down, and I don't know.
It felt like weirdly out of place too, because I mean Bruce Lee died in 1973, and this movie was like 1986. I think it was long after Bruceploitation was done and buried. So like it's kind of weird to see this happening in the 80s. I don't know.
Yeah,
a little strange.
Yeah,
I don't think the impression was bad either, but
no, it was okay.
It's all right.
It was fine.
It was serviceable, you know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know if this is a success or failure in my eyes, but I felt like some parts of this movie had a weird, like low quality after school special feel.
Yeah. Yep.
And I honestly can't say if it lent to me liking it or if it was negative.
It's interesting.
I figured I'd include it in my negatives because I really didn't have anything for weaknesses because I just enjoyed the shit out of this movie.
Yeah. Big smile on my face. But no, I hear you. It definitely had that. I mean, it just had, the corny vibe going on every so often. Because sometimes they were doing some really cool shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm going to jump back to successes for 1 second because I forgot to mention this. But Jason, our main character, I feel like they did such a good job of having him progress physically through the movie.
Yeah, like showing his transition.
Like, I feel like it really happened. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like this movie started with him in one way, and it ended, and he was way more ripped, like, way tighter when he was fighting.
Way better at fighting.
Yeah, and he was just,
He started off pretty good.
He started off good. Like, I was surprised how good he was when we started, but then at the end, I was like, wow, he's really good.
Yeah, I don't know who the actor was. I think he's like a Taekwondo, like actual martial artist black belt or something. But he did like a really good job of portraying someone that wasn't very confident in his martial arts, but just happened to really like it.
Yeah.
You know?
Someone who was just, who's physically there, but doesn't quite get the concepts yet, and then he was able to make it seem like he understood what to do later. I don't know. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, because when they usually do a character like that, it's usually not like a real martial artist. Like it's like Ralph Macchio or something.
Yeah.
It's like they kind of have to, it's someone that isn't confident in their martial arts, and they kind of have to fake it when they actually are confident as a character, but the actor is obviously not an expert. Mm-hmm. So having it done in reverse and have him being able to portray it is like really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Ralph Macchio is barely a real person.
Ralph Macchio.
If I can complain about something within the context of the actual movie itself, Jason's dad fucking sucks.
Yeah, he's horrible.
Dude just bends to the whim.
Bends the knee.
Bends the knee. You bitch. He moves out of state instead of like standing up to these guys,
Well,
or like
calling the cops.
They broke his leg. You know, and he fought that guy. Well, he defended himself against that guy.
But even like beyond that, not even just moving his business and his family, like
He moves his bar business.
fucking up the entire coast. He like swears off fighting even when he's getting his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, you really suck as a character.
And
I
he,
hate you.
Like, immediately jumps to the conclusion that his son must be fighting other people instead of like just getting jumped at a party.
Yeah, or like
Like-
defending himself. He's like, you've been fighting again. Your shirt's all ripped up.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a weird turn for his character to take, to go from like defending yourself to just being like, no, I'm not gonna fight, even if it's to save my own life. Because then he gets jumped by 5 dudes later, and his fucking 17-year-old son has to save his ass, which must have been really humiliating. And I hope he felt every second of it.
Well, he turned that humiliation into pride
He
very
was
quickly
like,
for his son.
he was like, I can't believe how wrong I was. We were like, oh, well, we can.
Yeah. Duh, dude.
Dumbo.
Oh, no, I have to use my skill sets to survive. Fuck!
Also, I felt like RJ just existed to like service Jason.
Yep.
What do you mean, like
RJ?
sexually?
Besides that, RJ
service
was just
us.
RJ was just there to give of himself selflessly. He was like, "Oh, you need a place to practice? There's an old abandoned house down the street." Jason's like, "Oh no, but how am I going to get all my stuff there?" He's like, "Don't worry, RJ will take care of it." I was like, "Oh my god, RJ!"
RJ was walking plot convenience.
Like, okay, you're new in this town. You need a black guy to show you around.
For sure.
Here's this dojo. Here's this abandoned house. It's just crazy. But RJ was probably the best character.
Can we transition to favorite parts so we can talk about RJ more?
Sure.
All right, great. So, one of my favorite parts is RJ because of his character introduction was just fucking priceless. So Jason's kind of like unpacking a U-Haul, and then I think a basketball rolls out,
Yeah.
rolls up the street, hits RJ. He kicks up the basketball, catches it, does like the coolest "What's up?" and then like
Rides his bike
rides
over
his bike.
to
Goes,
Jason.
hey, I'm RJ. I'm like, oh my god, you're the best.
I love you already.
and he just fucking maintained that awesomeness throughout.
Yeah, that's the kid you want to meet in kindergarten, like on your first day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had RJ's introduction as one of my favorite parts.
Oh man, so good.
I can't believe we've barely talked about Van Damme throughout this whole. But he was barely in it.
He is barely in it.
He's in it for the first
Who, Carl?
2 minutes. Carl Ivan. He's in it for the first 2 minutes, and then he's in it for the last 4 minutes, and that's it.
I mean, but pretty badass.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
pretty badass.
Yeah.
We got a fucking sweet shirt rip.
He went Hulkamania.
/ sidekicks.
Oh, that's
Got a
right.
sweet sidekicks muscle shirt rip off. That was pretty great.
Joe Piscopo's oily fucking body.
I really hated I know this is a non-favorite part, but I just have to tell you how much I hated the main mafia goon guy.
The guy who looked like a fucking annoying camp counselor.
Yeah, he looked like Hank Azaria's skeleton.
Like he lives inside the skin of Hank.
Yeah. I was like,
Wow.
ew. Oh, I hated him. He was just like the mouthpiece, and he was always flanked by 2 goons, one of which was Van Damme.
Sometimes.
Erik is still laughing.
Those are like the 2 best descriptions of anything I've heard on the podcast.
What, Hank Azaria's
Hank
skeleton?
Azaria's skeleton and an annoying camp counselor.
He really was, though. I was
Oh.
like, why is anyone intimidated by this guy?
Yeah, he's not.
Except for
Eric,
his muscle.
what about you for some favorite parts?
I think I've mentioned most of the ones that I wrote down.
This whole movie was my favorite
Oh,
part.
fucking Van Damme going on a rampage at the end of the movie and
Oh my
kicking
god.
kicking the referee out of the ring.
And like strangling him with the fucking rope.
Turnbuckle?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was out of control.
Yeah, Van Damme definitely provided some legit favorite parts. And he brought the action, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really did.
It was like no holds barred at the end. Like all rules of fighting just went out the window. He was like strangling people, fucking suffocating people, kicking people.
Yeah, he's a vicious, godless commie, and that's what they do.
Damn rusky commies.
Man, 80s hate those commies, dude.
It is kind of funny to think though that this isn't really so much of an action kung fu movie as it is really like a weird, like a dramedy,
Like a
Yeah.
like a poorly done dramedy.
It's like a coming of age,
Yeah.
way too late movie.
like he's a late bloomer.
Yeah,
Jason?
nobody comes of age at 17.
Really? I feel like I didn't come of age until like last year.
Jason's dad ripping his Bruce Lee poster down, and then Jason running away from home because of it was probably one of my favorite parts, because both were such overreactions. And the second one just made the first so much more funny. Also, the part where Jason was doing sit-ups.
I guess you can call them more like pelvic thrusts.
Yeah, like weird pelvic
lateral
thrusts.
pelvic thrusts.
And RJ was like sitting on his lap.
On his dick. He was sitting on his dick.
He's definitely sitting on his dick.
Eating an ice cream popsicle,
Slobbering an
like
ice-
a vanilla popsicle covered in chocolate, and he's just going up and down. Oh my god, it was so...
Wait, let's not forget the most important detail. RJ was listening to a Walkman.
Oh,
Was he?
man.
Yes,
oh,
he
yeah.
was.
Oh, I couldn't even-
He was really grooving to it.
I couldn't even digest that detail because I was way too sidetracked.
When we were already joking about how much they were supposedly fucking, and then and then that scene happened, and
Literally sitting on his thrusting lap, eating a popsicle. We were like, this is way too phallic.
this is crazy right now.
Yeah, where's Fallon right now? She should have been around for this movie.
She should have been. We're actually going to see Fallon later when we go to see Phantasm at the Cable Car Cinema.
Yes, that's going to be fun. I'm so excited.
That'll be good.
And my last favorite part was the part when Scott was chasing RJ and like jumping over stuff.
Oh my god! I
Falling
forgot
and
about
like
that.
eating shit every time. And RJ would just like stop and encourage him.
I love that. This was one of our favorite things in movies is when the movie intrudes on real life, and we have these construction workers like setting up like a like no, don't come here kind of thing, but they're like encouraging him to jump over the blockade. They're like, come on, big boy, jump it.
They like start going onto it, and then like guys like, okay, I'm gonna jump this thing. Like everyone stop. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
That like perfectly encompasses the mood of the movie.
I just remembered those. When Jason is being trained by Bruce Lee, and we were kind of in this not really sure what's going on because like Bruce Lee, Jason falls asleep in like the abandoned area where he's training in, and like Bruce Lee seems to come to him in a dream, but then later we see Jason from RJ's perspective where he is like fighting and getting his ass kicked by Bruce Lee, but Bruce Lee's not there. And so like you have to wonder, like, is Bruce Lee interacting with a metaphysical layer where he can actually kick your ass as a ghost if you want to be trained by him badly enough?
Yeah, like you can only see him if he wants you to see him type of thing. Yeah. I was wondering about the same thing because it just looked like he was fighting himself
Pretty much, yeah.
and talking to himself.
So it's a really bizarre where we have like this one supernatural element in this otherwise grounded movie.
Well, was it? Well, because then we can flip it the other way, and it's like, well, if it's not supernatural, then clearly Jason has had an emotional breakdown because of his whole life being torn down and getting beaten up constantly. That he had to form this character in his brain to help him cope and push to the next level.
I like both proposals. I don't think the director thought about either of them.
I think it's just like, let's get Bruce Lee in here.
It's definitely just the ghost of Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
I mean, he went and left flowers on his grave and continuously was like,
He knew what he
Amen, Bruce Lee.
He knew Bruce Lee's favorite flowers.
Exactly.
true.
He did so much research. Yeah. I mean, I think that we've done the favorite parts thing. If we'd like to move on,
I
we
just
can-
can't get over the absurdity of the last fight in this movie
It's so insane.
because it's just a free for all.
Yeah, it's just like
It's not like Jason organized the fight so he could fight Ivan and like get revenge for his dad's dojo being closed.
No.
It was like Ivan kicked the shit out of everyone and was borderline murdering fools. And then Jason had jumped out of the audience and started beating the shit out of him. Which I think is an important detail to not overlook when describing this movie.
That's a good point. Jason was not training for anything.
No, nobody asked this of him.
No, well. So, but I see the connection here. So when this started as a karate competition and then devolved very quickly into professional wrestling.
Yeah.
When the leader of the Manhattan Maulers comes out into the ring with a slick back hair and changes the rules, and it says, if anyone else has got the balls to try it.
Hank Azaria's skeleton.
Exactly. And then we get Jean-Claude Van Damme come out. He beats the entire Seattle sidekicks. And then Jason, he's the one who's got the balls to go into the ring after Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Absurd.
After Kelly tries to help her brother, who is in the ring.
Ian.
Ian, thank you. Yes,
Supposed
Ian.
to be like the best guy at the
best
dojo.
guy in the United States at karate at
Oh,
this
yeah.
point. Yeah,
He
he
was
had
at
won
a-
the competition.
Yep.
Kelly goes in to help her brother. Jean-Claude grabs her hair. That really pisses Jason off. He does a fucking awesome, like, double kick to the face, spin over the ropes move, and then it was fucking on.
It was so on, but that description just brought me back to when he saved his dad's ass and how we totally skipped the part about how he fucking pulls up in his puke green station wagon, opens the door, flips over the hood, and like launch kicks some guy across a parking lot.
Dude, no one enters a room normally in this movie. It's always a sweet jump over something.
This movie is just a series of favorite parts.
It's fucking athletic.
It's
this
pretty
movie.
fucking great.
Yeah, overall favorite part just the fighting. That's all the fight scenes. They like they didn't have to be that good,
No.
but they were.
No.
And they were fast and well choreographed and totally aided to the rest of the movie.
Agreed.
Favorite part.
I think the director, actually, this might have been his debut in America. I think he was like a Hong Kong guy, or Vietnam maybe. I forget exactly where, but he had a background in like kung fu movies. So I think it kind of explains why this movie is so like tonally wacky, because maybe he didn't have the best grasp of like American standards. We've seen this before, like with why can't I think of his name right now? Samurai Cop guy.
Amir Sivan.
Yeah, you know, not quite to the same extent,
Samurai
but
Cop guy.
Have a nice day, guy.
yeah, of course.
Mr. Bon Jovi himself.
We're halfway there.
Tico Torres.
Ah, well. Yeah,
But yeah, there's some choreography background and so obviously some knowledge of how you would direct a martial arts movie. It's just when you transplant it to America, it comes off as fucking goofy as fuck.
yeah. I love American karate movies. Like I really do. It's just such a unique thing to watch. And actually, the director of that, I think his name was Corey Yoon or something.
Yeah,
he went
yep.
on to direct The Transporter with Jason Statham.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay,
So,
wow.
yeah,
So these
so-
are very humble starts.
So he's gotten worse. Just kidding.
Yeah, he
not
actually worked on a lot of movies. This guy.
Sometimes I feel like the foreign perspective of American culture is so much more entertaining to watch than actual American culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah. Oh wow. All right, so I guess with that, shall we rate this motherfucker?
Yeah.
So let's rate it then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
fuck
I'm gonna
you.
have to give it an unfortunate fuck off.
Oh my god, my fucking father.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
All right, guys, let's rate No Retreat, No Surrender from 1986. What are we doing? I think I know what's going to happen here. And a 3, and a 2, and a 1.
Fuck
and a fuck
I was actually gonna give it a fucking fuck yeah.
Oh,
Wow,
fucking
holy
fuck
shit.
yeah.
Because
That's
I
a
thought that this movie was so fucking fun to watch. I actually want to tell everyone that I've ever met to watch this movie.
All right, well, hold on. Let's play a this or that. Is it this or Breathing Fire?
Wait, Breathing Fire is plastic pizza. This.
This is better than Breathing Fire.
I think I like this better. than
Overall, absolutely. Breathing Fire was way more absurd. But it didn't have the positive qualities to balance out the absurdity. Which, I mean, you can appreciate them for different reasons, obviously. But just start to finish, like, keeping the viewer engaged and being funny and being really fucking badass and having awesome martial arts. It's just this movie.
And what about this or Sidekicks?
This is probably a better movie.
What?
I mean, like,
What? Not what I was expecting you to say.
no, like,
You could think one's better, but better though?
as far as I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't know. It's a tough question to answer. Everybody
is.
thinks. I mean,
They're so
wait,
different.
what's the question that's being posed? Is this or sidekicks?
this or this or Breathing Fire, this or Sidekicks.
Well, I mean, you're really asking me to pick a favorite child. All right, here. That's not an easy question to answer. I think out of all three, I have to say this is probably my favorite out of all of them.
oh my god.
This is so fucking enjoyable.
But this is good in a different way
Yeah.
than
So-
Sidekicks.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, you are.
Yeah, I mean, sidekicks.
See it in your eyes. You're very sure.
Look in my eye.
I get it.
Yeah, Sidekicks is cut from a different mold. That's really more of like a Karate Kid style movie, where the martial arts really aren't necessarily the center of it. You know, like it's really more of about the character of Jonathan Brandeis's.
Yeah. Barry
Kinda-
Gabrewski.
That's it. Yeah, of him growing
Very
and,
wary.
and kind of becoming an adult. Whereas this is and Breathing Fire are really more about Well, I don't know. It's hard.
They're really they're different.
They're all different flavors in
Yeah.
the same family.
Yep.
It's really weird.
I feel like this is the vanilla chocolate swirl between Breathing Fire and Sidekicks,
Oh.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, so Breathing Fire would probably be the chocolate. Sidekicks would be the vanilla. Vanilla is better than chocolate, which is what I'm
Sidekicks
getting
would be
at.
chocolate because chocolate is way better, and
No.
you're a crazy
Oh,
person.
boy, we're going to have this debate.
Vanilla is better than chocolate.
Vanilla is better than
No.
chocolate.
Thank
Stop.
you, Eric.
You're both wrong.
Majority rules.
No, it doesn't.
Don't know who that was, but
Tell Juan to take a nap.
oh boy. Does anyone want to maybe kind of add to why they're giving this the fuck yeah rating? This is a fucking sweep, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
this was a goddamn blast.
It was just so fun to watch.
Yeah, and it was such a surprise, I think, is the other thing, too, because I was expecting... I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of this movie. I was like, okay, well, the premise is really silly. It'll probably be boring at certain points. Like, I expected boring parts, and they just never happened. Like, this movie was just consistently wacky and goofy.
I expected it to be more serious than it was.
Yeah.
I did
so
too.
The absurdity of it really took me by surprise, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would say even, I mean, we kind of complained about the whole Bruce Lee ghost part. I mean, as a worst part of the movie,
That's a nitpick.
That was still a lot of fun.
that was still really good.
Yeah.
Like, for your worst to be not as bad as some other movie's best, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll absolutely take it.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious about the cut that we watched.
Yeah.
Because it looks like there are like this. I think this movie has like a cult following, and there are like fan edits. So I'm wondering if there's like a definitive version of this movie that we're supposed to watch. But I'll be honest, this one was really fun to watch just because of how weird it was.
It was very good, but the version we watched on YouTube was an hour 35, probably with credits, so maybe just about a 90-minute movie. The runtime that is on IMDb is an hour and 25 minutes.
Oh, so this might even be like an extended weird cut.
So they may have had add a couple more. So maybe all the Kelly stuff got added.
I really hate that they put Jean-Claude Van Damme on the cover of this movie.
Well, yeah, that's gonna make people buy
He has
it.
no business being there.
Yeah, well, that probably came way later.
Yeah, I mean they did that with Breathing Fire too.
Yeah, they put
Yeah.
Lolo Young.
Yeah, he's barely in that movie.
Try to garner views.
Exactly.
I don't appreciate it.
Oh, just like the I forget the name of the other movie that because we were trying to figure out this was Jean-Claude Van Damme's first credit, and we went on IMDb and we found that his first credit was as Gay Karate Man, and he was on the cover of that movie, and he wasn't even warranted a name; he was just warranted a sexuality and a profession.
And a gender.
I will also mention that this movie was rated PG, so it's fun for the whole family.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing. There's
wish-
really nothing risque in here. You know,
No, I really do wish I kind of watched this when I was a kid.
I was kind of surprised that nobody got called a fag. I was surprised that nobody commented on RJ being black.
Well, they did throw a couple of jokes in there. Well,
Did they?
At least one. Yeah.
Really?
Well, there was that scene when when Jason is fighting that black belt at the dojo in Seattle, and it's a black dude, and RJ comes in to like break up the fight, and he's like, "Brother," and then like runs out of frame.
Well, that's fine.
Well, I'm just saying they touched it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. That's not really what I'm talking about. That's kind of RJ just interacting with another character, not a white character
Making
commenting
explicitly,
on his race.
Oh.
Which I feel like would happen in every other movie made in 1986.
Okay.
Also, I feel like in any other movie, Kelly would have been like forced to be with Dean.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, they tried that. That didn't work out too well.
Yeah, no. Kelly got pushed around a lot,
Kelly,
even by Jason, which was really annoying.
Kelly wasn't making her own choices.
Kelly wasn't much of a character.
No,
she was very Kelly.
she likes rabbits.
Yeah.
That's about it. She has a brother.
Oh, okay.
The end.
So final thoughts. I have a final thought. I just want. I wanted to bring it up. It was so they go to Kelly's birthday party, and Jason comes in with a big box, for a present. She opens the present, and she pulls out like a little baby bunny rabbit that also has a little bow on it. And I thought that was a cute little touch. I thought it was very
All right.
cute.
I completely forgot that when he was bringing the gift into the house, he ran into her brother, and the box got like squashed or dropped. And then she opens it, and there's a rabbit inside.
It was actually an adult rabbit when he showed up. But then when he ran into Ian and he got smushed, it turned into a little baby. That's how it works.
Now you get them for twice as long.
Yeah, there you go. It worked out in everyone's favor. Anyone else with any final thoughts?
I do have one last favorite part that I just recalled.
Oh, perfect.
When they're establishing that there's going to be a karate competition for the ownership of the Seattle dojo, there is a scene of a workman putting up posters, and it turns out he's wallpapered an entire side of a building with the same poster over and over again.
It's just how it was done.
I feel like
And
that.
I wonder if that was like like the director told him to do that, and no one really wanted to like go through the trouble of being like, why would they do that? They just kind of let him do it.
I feel like that would be the idiot after the boss is like, go hang up all these posters. And he puts them on one wall and he's like, boss, I did it. And the boss looks out the window and he's like, ugh.
I feel like that's not that uncommon. Like in New York and stuff, in like high traffic areas, there's always like one poster that like plasters an entire area, and then other people will like put their other stuff over it.
Yeah,
just to like grab attention.
Yeah, but the funny part is that this place was barren besides that one poster.
That's very true. There was like an industrial like
nothing there. It was just like on some random alley and no one goes down. Okay.
Yeah, John Matuszak was making a business deal right behind them. Dropping a suitcase off.
Oh my God, yes. One man force. I miss it already. All right, so I guess that's it then. We're done. We watched No Retreat, No Surrender.
Thanks for announcing that we're done.
Well, I asked for final thoughts. We didn't get any, so now we're done.
One more thing.
Okay.
Let's not forget that Jason's triumph was motivated by RJ yelling the name of the movie at him.
That is very true. And lots of names of the movie, so that's a success.
Yeah, they did say it a lot of times, which is splendid.
Ballin'. Loved it. All right.
Manhattan Ballers.
Now, this movie has two... this movie has two sequels, you said, right?
This movie does have two sequels. The second one is directed by the same guy.
Ah, excellent.
Corey Yuen or whatever. That's No Retreat, No Surrender 2. And then there's a No Retreat, No Surrender 3, like Blood Brothers or something. I think we need to watch all those.
Yes.
And those all happened before 1990. I think that last one's 1990.
Oh, so they fucking cranked these things out. They must have been successful.
I mean, I think this one probably at least made its money back with it, because this is prime rental tape right here.
I mean, I almost wonder if this made it to the theaters, because it seems like it's of enough quality where it could have gone to the theaters.
Maybe.
And the idea of watching this in a theater makes me very happy.
That is very nice.
With other people taking it seriously.
I wish. I don't know. But yeah, so we watched No Retreat, No Surrender, and we all fucking loved it. If you'd like more information on our show, you can head on to Facebook, facebook.com/secondclasscinema. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, secondclasscinema.com, and followingfilms.com. You can reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram, and email us at secondclasscinema@gmail.com if you have a movie or something that you'd like us to watch.
Oh, I have a quandary.
Well, you have a quandary?
Yeah.
All right, so a closing quandary.
Do I buy this movie on Blu-ray for $9? Or do I buy all three of them on DVD for $5?
Yes to both.
Oh, I think I think that's a yes and a yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 3 copies of Breathing Fire, and we like this more, so that means we have to have at least 4 copies of this.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Yeah. All right.
Later.
So we're going to buy it.